morning, world.
Good morning.
Today we're going to talk about what's in the news about the deranged individual who shot and killed 8 people at a massage parlor.
But what we're not going to talk about, we are not going to talk about the 2 teens who burned a 53-year-old man to death. And we're definitely not going to talk about the 2 adults who killed their 3-year-old adopted daughter. We are not, I'm lying, we're going to talk about that.
We're talking about it all.
We're talking about it. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. All right, before we go on, Cedric wanted me to do this because he's catching on. He's catching on. We want you to like, subscribe.
That's my line.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Jeez, give me some. My gift. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you ring the bell and share our videos with everyone you know. Okay, now you can carry on.
Maybe they don't know our channel and they don't want to subscribe because they don't know us yet.
It's called the call to action. It's got to be done in the first few minutes of the video.
All right. Well, then I'm going to call to action. Notice our fancy hats here. That's how you can support Cedric and Brian right there.
Yeah.
These are our old hats there with the big logo.
There's a special promo.
Yeah, that's right. There's a special promo. If you type in C and B, use the and, the actual word, C and B 10. You'll get 10% off hats right now. Just the hats, and the link is at Grace Graphic Design, and you'll see that in the link at the end of this video or whenever you decide to look at the
and they're nice
description.
hats, very patriotic.
Yeah, very
got the
nice.
Stars there.
And they're fitted, and we also have, because my wife wanted this, we also have the camo hats.
Yes.
So, anyways, get your CNB 10 discount, 10% off.
Let's do this. Let's get into it.
All right, so as you've seen in the news, because it's all over the news, and why is it in the news? Because
why is it in the news?
Because a white man, and if you're to believe the news, a white racist or a white supremacist shot and killed 6 Asian women solely because they were Asian.
Yes.
Never mind 2 of the women that you won't hear were white.
White. Yes.
But it was all about Asian, not the fact that this guy had a sex addiction.
Yes.
And
yes.
he admitted that, and he told people it had nothing to do with race from his own mouth. I know, are you going to believe a mass shooter? Maybe not. But he said he didn't kill them because they're Asian. He said they were in the sex, and these were not massage, like go to a spa and get a massage. These were pretty known massage parlors where you go to get your happy ending.
Yes. Yes. Let's not be fooled by that. I mean, that's the thing with these massage parlors. They're known for being a big cover-up for the sex trafficking industry.
Yes.
The gentleman's name was.
I'm a little. I don't like to put the names of.
I got it from a news source.
I know you did, and I know it's out there, but we don't want to glorify. These people just are looking for attention.
Okay.
You know what I find funny about that? Whenever you talk about killers, like the people like Lincoln, Kennedy, they always use 3 names.
Yes.
For shooters. They always stick that middle name in there. So if somebody calls
John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah, if they call you by 3 names, look out, man.
Yes.
They're basically calling you a killer.
Yes. Brian Gordon.
I have 2 middle names, so I don't fit that. I'm Brian Gordon Joseph Hiller.
To touch on what you said, he actually said that this was not a man, and I'm going to say it, I can say this being the black guy in the panel, he did not go into a soul food restaurant to murder blacks. He did not go into a Mexican restaurant to murder Hispanics. He didn't go into the massage parlor to murder Asians. He went in there because, like you said, he had a sexual addiction, and he has his own quote. He says, it was a temptation that he wanted to eliminate. That's just someone who's sick in the head. It had nothing to do with race.
He's sick in the head. But what's the narrative right now? Because everything has to go back to Trump. It's because Trump said China virus.
Yes.
So obviously the hate crimes against Chinese people for the COVID virus, which came from China, it's all Trump's fault now, so it fits the narrative. It's so stupid. And Trevor Noah, who I thought at the very beginning, before Trump, he was kind of funny. Now he's ridiculous. So he just turned this into a total white supremacist thing.
Now, if anyone knows their agenda of why they did something, it should be the killer. I mean, so from his own mouth, he said, I did that because I have a sex addiction, and I thought this is a good way to eliminate that by killing the people who work there. Just so happens that the people who work there were Asian.
When I looked this up, Time Magazine, man charged with killing 8 people, 6 of them Asian women. Okay, he didn't mention what the other 2 were, of course, because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Right.
BuzzFeed, a man kills 6 Asian women. Doesn't say 2 of them were white. All right, Yahoo News, watch whiteness work. A white man kills 6 Asian women. Blah, blah, blah. Everything's about the race because that fits the narrative. I wanted to point a couple things on it, and I have all. That's the screenshot right there from my Google search. When COVID first started, when the China virus was called, came from China, they don't have any problem calling it the South African strain, right, or the Brazilian strain, but we can't say the China virus.
Right.
When that first started, most of the hate crimes were not committed by whites, so you didn't hear about them. You have to search for them.
Yes.
So, because that doesn't fit the narrative of bad whitey, right?
Yeah.
So then, what Cedric alluded to before, that's all over the news. It's not we don't know. Maybe the guy is a racist. I don't know. But from his own words, and from here's the terrible thing. The police officer, I don't know if it was the police or the FBI, made a statement. And since he didn't fit that narrative, he said, no, this person said that it wasn't because of race. He's getting called out. And then they went and looked in his past posts, and he wore a shirt that said China virus. So God forbid he must be on the right.
Yeah.
Now they're calling for him to lose his job when all he did is repeat what the suspect said. It wasn't because they were Asian.
And we're not going to go down this rabbit hole, but this is very similar to the scenario that happened with that show that I hate, The Bachelor, when Chris Harrison defended the woman by saying, let's give her some grace.
If you hate it, why do you watch it?
Because of it's a social experiment. You know why I watch it?
Because your girlfriend made you watch it.
Anyway. Edit that out.
Hell no. All right, so without beating that too much, I'm sure you've heard all of this, and if you don't follow anything other than the mainstream media, this was a white supremacist, evil white guy who has to be eradicated. In fact, a guy from The Root, if I can find that, a writer from The Root, said basically whiteness is a virus and it has to be eradicated.
Yes.
Basically says you need to kill all white people.
Kill whitey.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
And that's not racist at all. Yeah. Could you imagine if we said kill this ethnicity that's not white? We'd be on trial right now. Honestly,
I just challenge, if you have, and I know we had I can't remember her last name, Rosie, who's a recent subscriber to us. Thank you for your comment. We'll do our comments later.
Yeah.
But she said that she's been using our videos to talk to people that she has a hard time talking to. She said she showed our video to 2 of her cousins. One cousin loved us, me specifically, and the other cousin said, they're ignorant. And I said to Rosie, if you got this comment, let me know. I said, please ask your cousins, okay, I know you don't like me. My teeth are obnoxiously large, and sometimes I talk too fast, but what was it about our content? What did we say they disagreed with? They can disagree with the facts and statistics and figures, fine. But I don't like them. I don't get that.
Because you're a black conservative.
God, we know. No one ever tells me these things.
We know why. All right, so then I did a Google search, and I don't know. I'm sure the people that watch this have heard this story. There was a lady who went on, I think it was a cooking show. So like, one of those shows. A black lady and her black husband adopted a 3-year-old white child, beat her to death. Did you hear about that? Does the mainstream talk about that?
It was a white parents who adopted a black child.
Or even, as I said to Cedric, even if it was white parents that killed a white child, you'd still hear about it because those evil white people, how could they kill an innocent child? But since the parents happen to not be white, you have to go find these really obscure sites to find it. And that goes along with what Cedric alluded to before. You want to tell him about the poor old 53-year-old man?
Oh, yeah. It's, you guys heard the story. It happened in Rochester, New York. Just happened recently. 2 black teens, I think their ages 14 and 16, randomly went to the home of a 53-year-old man. His name is Stephen Amenhauser. He's the victim, so I'm using his name so we can lift him up in prayers and thoughts. But he passed away 4 days after they broke into his place, sprayed some lighter fluid on them. Was it lighter fluid?
It was some kind of accelerant.
And they burned him to death, which burned over 70% of his body. I believe.
Horrific way to die.
Yeah, 'cause we talked about that. Like, you talked about how would you want to go, like being burned to death or drowned to death. They're both horrific.
Yeah,
but I couldn't imagine that. You're just sitting there.
Anybody who's been burned by just a little bit,
Yeah.
you know how much that hurts. Can you imagine 70% of your body burned like that? Yeah. He was a mentally ill man, too.
Yeah.
53-year-old. Hey, you're 53.
I know.
Could have been you. Oh, wait, you're not white.
That wouldn't have been me, because if I got burned, you wouldn't have noticed it.
Oh, man.
I can make those jokes.
So anyways, let me just show you some of these. Here's what you see here. What do you notice about this? It says 2 teenagers charged in torching death of Rochester man. Nothing about race. Here's another one. Rochester's teens charged with setting man on fire inside his own home. That's even the New York Post, which, of course, that's right-wing propaganda, but even they don't mention the race. 2 teens set, and this is an opinion, 2 teens set mentally ill man on fire. If races were reversed, it would be a national story. They're the only ones who admitted that.
Right.
Okay, but now let's go over to the white supremacists. So, mass shooting at Georgia Asian massage parlors leaves 8 dead, suspect arrested. Look at that. There's a picture of the suspect to show that he is white.
Yeah.
Here's another one. World National. Police say man charged with killing Asian women and others at spas had sexual addiction. Oh, my goodness.
And I'm going to say the evil comment.
They actually put the sexual addiction part.
Right.
But they also put the Asian part.
I'm going to say the comment that everyone hated this summer, but it bears repeating here. All lives matter. Asian, Black, Hispanic. The fact that these 6 women, 8 total, lost their lives is a terrible atrocity.
Yeah.
Their race is irrelevant.
I know, but then here's another one from the New York Times. So both of these are, one from Los Angeles Times. Here's New York Times. 8 dead in Atlanta spa shootings with fears of anti-Asian bias. You know what? They put this out before they do any homework on this, and then they'll retract it later if they find out that it wasn't. But the damage is done. These are headlines in the New York Times. And of course they say 8 dead, and then they say Asian. 2 of them weren't Asian, but
right.
Don't let
they're
the
an
facts
afterthought.
get in the way. Don't let the facts get in the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can go through them. I'll just keep them going up here. You can find headline and headline on mainstream media about their race, but you won't find that about the other killings about the race.
Well,
we're letting you know, not because the race matters, but the hypocrisy matters.
Yeah.
And the fact that you only hear one narrative matters.
Yeah, the only reason that these gentlemen I'm bringing up are household names is because of the color of their skin. Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Eric Garner, and recently George Floyd, whose family just came up on $27 million after that was settled. The only reason that was brought into the national spotlight was because of the color of their skin. Had the roles been reversed and those men were white, this would have been another footnote.
That's a hell of a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
Mine's not worth that much.
Are you contemplating taking me out so you can get some funding for Cedric and Brian?
$27 million can go a long way. I can buy my camera that I wanted.
Oh, Jesus.
Bottom line is,
I gotta say it. It's a damn shame.
Damn shame. Regardless of the race of the person, this was a mentally challenged individual, this person who shot up the massage parlors. We know that because and this is where I have a concern. Larry Elder used to talk about this when it came to hate crimes. If you kill somebody, regardless of race, isn't that hate?
It's hate.
And not only that, why is it any worse that person's dead, what race they were killed by?
Yeah.
They're dead, you're dead.
But it fits the media narratives. It's magnified when the perpetrator is white and the victims are POCs.
I know. But was it a hate crime with those parents that killed the 3-year-old? Was it a hate crime?
Just another footnote.
For the 2 teens that burnt to death. I mean, what a horrible thing.
And I know you don't want to glorify it, but I wish... No, I don't. That's me. I was going to say, I know their names aren't released because they are minors. Yeah. But, if you're big and bad enough to perpetrate this crime, then you're big and bad enough to have your name put out there so you can be...
But like I said before, you don't want to glorify the perpetrators, but why leave the race out when you put race in every other time when it's the opposite?
Yeah.
We know why. I mean, I'm being rhetorical. Yeah. One of the girls that we watch on TikTok, because we've been on TikTok, and she all of a sudden popped up on our feeds.
Yeah.
Because her name is Amela. I'm going to mess up her last name, so I'll just put her up there. Yeah. She is now part of Prager University.
It's awesome. That is incredible.
She's a very brave person of color.
Yes. 20 years old.
20 years old. Her mom is a white, very leftist person, and she used to work for a leftist organization, and then guess what she did? She did her own homework. Doing your own homework moves you to the right, so that's why
wait a minute.
they don't want people to do their own homework.
But she said she's gotten some support. She's the middle child. She has an older brother, I guess, and a younger sister. Yep. And like Brian said, she did her homework. She goes, you know what? This just doesn't make sense. Because she was working for a leftist agenda, and the hatred that was being spewed by the liberal white people, she's like, wait a minute. This isn't right.
Yeah, and she would ask questions, and it was like, don't ask questions.
Yeah.
So anyway, go look her up. She's on TikTok, and now she just had an interview with on the Fireside Chat with Dennis Prager.
Yes.
Very bright 20-year-old woman.
Well-spoken, articulate, smart. Oh, she's going places.
Articulate and well-spoken.
Because of who she is, regardless of the color of her skin. She is articulate, smart. You know, don't be messy.
Cedric's very articulate. I don't know about smart. All right. You had a comment you wanted to do, so let's call somebody out on their comment.
Okay, let's do that.
It's short and sweet, and it has to do with the Ben Shapiro's blind spot video, where me and Cedric had a couple of disagreements on, I don't know, certain things on Ben.
Yeah,
he likes the fact that he's a arrogant ass. No, what condescending. No, the vaccine. Different aspects. Guess what, guys? We don't agree on everything.
We don't.
All right. But our basic values are the same.
Yes.
So this person, Becky Isabel, put that up there. Becky, thank you for watching.
Becky with the good hair?
Is Karen the new Becky?
I don't know.
Wasn't Becky kind of the white girl?
Get
Karen?
on with it.
Okay, sorry. Says, all she said is simply, and you can have different opinions and still be friends. Wow. Can you believe that? Because we're on the right side of the aisle. If you're on the left, obviously, you just get canceled. You have one deviation. And of course, they show this because people are getting canceled on the left. And they're still on the left.
Yes.
But they're still being canceled. I think there was another, I can't remember, it was on Ben's show today. A black journalist had some tweet or something in the past, because this is how it works now. When she was younger, so they went back and they parted ways. That's how they say, basically, you've been canned. Yeah. They parted ways.
Yeah, well, you know, and that's a good point. It's like the left doesn't recognize the act of repentance.
And redemption.
Yeah. You do something between the ages of 17 and 40, they hold that one big box. It's like, what you do at 17, you're a totally different person at 40 than you are at 17. Yeah. They look at what you did in those early years and they say, we're going to hold that against you now, and you are now canceled.
And we've changed. So I didn't know Cedric when I was a teenager. So for religious reasons, I mentioned this before, I had a lot of people, since my mother was Jewish, telling me I was going to go to hell, and they happen to be Christians with the Lutheran Church, I think. So I, at that time in my life, had a problem, and I had blinders on, and if I heard somebody was a religious Christian, I always thought, they don't like me. I was kind of playing the victim.
Right.
I grew up.
Yeah.
Now, Cedric and I are best friends. We have different religious views, but guess what? Our values are still very, very similar. Yep. So,
and we can revel in our differences and still be friends and go out and have a beer after you watch this video. It's your turn to buy, by the way.
And that's why we're happy people.
Because of the beer?
Well, that too. No, because we don't cancel each other.
Right.
And we know that we're all human and we're not going to be exact automatons of each other.
A little shameless self-promotion. If you want to see that 4-part series that we did way back, we did a 4-part series on racism. Yeah. And basically it wasn't really racism. It was just me and Brian talking about our respective lives growing up. And so if you guys want to, maybe you'll put that in the link. I don't know. Maybe you will. And you guys go back and see that 4-part series, and it may be interesting. Give you a little insight on who we were growing up.
Yep.
Are we done?
Right. We are done. Don't forget to watch our Tom McDonald video coming up on White Boy, White
Boy.
And that'll be coming up probably in a couple days.
Okay, awesome. Okay. We're going to repeat it again. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you ring that bell, and share our videos with everyone you know.
Comment.
And go out and get your Cedric and Brian hats. These things you're on, the fit is right. No, you can't be on fleek. Your eyelids, I don't know all the terms. They're nice hats. Go out and get some. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
I'm Brian. We'll see you later.